All right, so I just wanted to go over with you guys today. If your trailer or your truck has frozen brakes, it can be a loose term. It may just be a unit that sat for a long time and that the brakes aren't releasing, or that it might be in the winter time and the brakes are actually have a little small layer of moisture that has frozen it to the drum. This only applies to drum brakes and it doesn't apply to rotor brakes. Most of our fleet is moving to just disc and disc brakes instead of drum brakes, but we still do want to show you guys because we have a lot of units, trailers and trucks that still have drum brakes. So the only thing you guys need for this is a pipe and a hammer. It doesn't have to be exactly like this, but we also supply one in all of our trucks that we own. All of the RC units have a hammer and a pipe installed into the side box, along with your other supplies that you get, like your gallon oil, coolant, washer fluid, things like that that we keep in there. We put a hammer in there and a pipe in there, so just in case you guys do have to free your brakes, you have that opportunity. ICs will obviously have to provide their own, and I have to check back on the Penske's if they do have them. If not, these are great tools to make sure that you have, just in case you have this going on. I have the luxury of showing you guys inside of a nice warm shop on concrete with a creeper. You guys will most likely not get that chance to be on concrete. It'll most likely be wet and horrible conditions when you have to do this. Nonetheless, we've all done it inside the shop, so we know exactly what you have to deal with. But I'm going to slide underneath here and show you guys exactly where we're looking at and describe what you need to hit. So inside here you can see this is the brake drum, and this is the shoe pad, and this is the metal that it is attached to. So when we hit, we want to hit the metal of the shoe instead of the friction material of the shoe, because this can break. If this breaks and cause cracks, we can be hit by DOT for cracked brakes. So when we hit, we want to try and hit here as much as possible. Sometimes your hammer would be better from just hitting in this location. Sometimes you need a pipe to get into it. With the brakes released, and if it is frozen to the drum, when you go to hit it and it does release, you'll see the brake dust fly. So when I hit this, you'll actually see a little bit of dust come off. That's what it's going to sound like, and that's what it's going to look like when you finally get them broke loose. Until then, it's going to have a different sound to it and nothing's going to break loose. I do want to point out that there are two different shoes. You have a bottom shoe, and then you have the top shoe up here. Okay? One can be frozen and the other one can be free. This one's the easiest to see. This one may be the easiest to be frozen, but it's not going to be the only one that can be frozen. So you may, after getting this one loose, have to hit this one. This one's a little bit harder to get to, and that's why you have the pipe. Just like that. And you're going to have to do your own locating on which shoe is frozen, depending on which tires aren't turning. You may have, if all four aren't turning, it will most likely not be frozen brakes, but maybe a frozen valve, where you use your airline antifreeze that is supplied in your side box, where you can dump that down your glad hand and then apply air to the trailer and possibly get that ice that is frozen in that valve melted. So most of our trailers are drum brake trailers, but we do have disc brake trailers coming in now. So I wanted to show you guys the difference. We can't do anything when we have disc brake trailers because they won't get frozen because they don't have those shoes. But for any reason, if anything's locked up and not moving, it's most likely not frozen brakes, it's a frozen valve at that point. You can't beat anything loose. We have to use the airline antifreeze at that point, or have somebody come out and help with air restrictions, something like that. In this system, you have your brake chamber attached to a caliper and then that is where your brake shoes are in here, and then your rotor is in also. So I wanted to show you guys, we do have some trailers that have disc brakes. So this is an example of the disc brakes on a truck. Again, there's the caliper, the rotor's inside there with the pads around there. There's nothing for you to beat loose there. So here's an example of the drum brakes on the rear drives of a truck. We have some trucks that are like this still. So we know this isn't usually an ideal situation that you would want to be in, to be crawling underneath of a trailer or a truck to beat these brakes loose. But if you're on the road and this happens and you have the tools, you would be doing Crum a big favor, not to mention yourself a favor, because if we have to call a road call to come and help you out, they may be there within the hour, they may be there within 2 hours. If you're having problems with frozen brakes, probably everybody else is also. So it's usually going to be a built up in time, not to mention the cost that it's going to accrue. Usually we have a road call minimum of 2 hours, and a road service fee is usually about $2.25 an hour. So just for them to come knock something loose that you may be able to do yourself, you're going to save yourself time, you're going to save the company money. So we will appreciate any effort that you guys give into this. You may not be able to get it right, but at least you can try. So we do appreciate it. Thank you.